Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to be working on lesson 108. So make sure we're all following along, paying close attention. And let's go ahead and begin. Look at part 1. Touch the first word in part 1. What is the underlined part? Shoal. What word? Commercial. Next word. What is the underlined part? Shun. What word? Reputation. Next word. What is the underlined part? What word? Glanced. Next word. What is the underlined part? What word? Undermining. Next word. What is the underlined part? What word? Dealership. Let's go ahead and continue with part 2. We're going to talk about what those words mean. Word number 1, what word? Hectic. Hectic activity is frantic activity. Number 2, what word? Exhaust. When you use up something, you exhaust it. Everybody, what's another way of saying they used up all the possibilities? Get ready. They exhausted all the possibilities. Touch word number 3. What word? Brochure. A brochure is a folder. Brochures often are used to advertise a product. Number 4. What word? Dealership. A business that is licensed to sell a particular product is called a dealership. Number 5. What word? Legal. Legal actions are actions done according to the law. Number 6. What word? Vast. Vast means very big. Everybody, what does vast mean? Very big. Number 7. What word? Assess. When you assess something, you evaluate it or tell how much it is worth. Everybody, what's another way of saying she evaluated the property? Get ready. She assessed the property. Number 8. What word? Talent. A talent is a special ability to do something. Word number 9. What word? Interview. An interview is a talk with someone about a particular topic. Touch word number 10. What word? Violate. When you violate a rule, you break that rule. Everybody, what's another way of saying he broke the rule about smoking? Get ready. He violated the rule about smoking. Word number 11. What word? Prior. Prior means before. Everybody, what's another way of saying she talked to me before the meeting? Get ready. She talked to me prior to the meeting. Let's go ahead and look at part 3. First word. What word? Resources. Next word. What word? Exhaust. Next word. What word? Campaign. Next word. What word? Industry. Next word. What word? Responded. Next word. What word? National. Next word. What word? Specialize. Next word. What word? Official. Next word. What word? Productive. Next word. What word? Manufacturers. Next word. What word? Protesting. Next word. What word? Committee. Next word. What word? Coughed. Next word. What word? Considering. Next word. What word? Directly. Next word. What word? Government. Next word. What word? slogan. Let's go ahead and look at part 4. We're going to begin with our story. Make sure we're paying close attention because we're going to go over the questions. Follow along. The advertising budget for CAR was just over $1 million. That budget was exhausted after a 1-week advertising campaign. During that call, the advertising agency received nearly 1,000 phone calls. The agency had to hire an answering service to handle the calls. Joe Kappas spent most of his time on the phone talking to angry people. Some of them were dealers of CAR. We're out of cars, they complained. We don't have enough brochures to hand out to customers. We need big signs so that people know where our dealerships are. Listen to question number 1. Why were the car dealers angry? The car dealers were angry because they were out of cars. They didn't have enough brochures, and they needed big signs so people were able to know where the dealerships were. During the week, 53 new dealers were signed up to handle CAR. About 100 others were considering becoming car dealers. Joe told each of the dealers interested in becoming a car dealer, remember, as a car dealer, you are entitled to display a sign in front of your showroom that says, the only real car dealer in this area. Now, what were the car dealers entitled to do? The car dealers were entitled to display a sign in front of their showroom that said, the only real car dealer in this area. Among the people who called the agency were reporters from the television and radio networks and all the leading national magazines. These calls went directly to the president of the advertising agency. He had meetings with reporters almost every day, starting on the second day of the campaign. Joe was present during the first interview. 3 reporters, 2 from local newspapers and 1 from a national magazine, shot questions at the president of the agency. One reporter asked, "Is this campaign legal?" "Certainly," the president responded. "Do you think we would do it if it weren't legal?" But the same reporter continued, "Isn't this campaign going to hurt other manufacturers and car dealers? They won't be able to refer to their cars as CAR." The president laughed. He then said, "Well, they can't call their product cars because they're not cars. There is only one car that is sold in this country today." Listen to question number 3. What did the president of the advertising agency have to do almost every day? The president of the advertising agency had to meet with reporters almost every single day. Whose idea was this campaign? The magazine reporter asked. "It was a group effort," the president replied. "Our agency has vast resources and has a reputation for doing a creative job for our clients. We try to assess the needs of our clients and provide each client with the most creative and productive approach we can develop." "What does that mean?" the reporter from the national magazine asked. "I mean, how did it really come about?" The president coughed several times, and he said to her, "Well, it's difficult to describe how a total campaign is developed. As I said earlier, it is a group effort, with all people putting their talent into the talent pool. But didn't somebody actually come up with the idea? Whose idea was it?" The president glanced at Joe and cleared his throat. "I believe it came out of our creative department, but I can actually remember. I don't believe that it was any one person's idea. As I recall, it was a group effort." Joe understood that the president was trying to make it look as if his agency had created the car campaign, and Joe didn't really care. After all, cars were selling, and Joe would receive $100 for every car, over 3,000 sold during the year. Besides, Joe knew who created the advertising campaign. Listen to question number 4. What was the agency president trying to do? The president of the agency was trying to make it look like his agency had created the car campaign. Now let's go ahead and continue. The interviews with reporters went on, and so did the campaign. By the second week, Joe was beginning to tire of reading about CAR in the newspaper and of watching TV reports on it. A government committee was investigating the situation. The labor union made a strong statement protesting the slogan, "The only cars in this country." The union said that car wasn't even made in this country and that it was undermining the nation's automobile industry. Now, what was the union concerned about? The union was concerned about the car not being made in this country and that it was undermining the nation's automobile industry. A leading automobile manufacturer indicated that it was considering a lawsuit against car. Another auto company indicated that it did not intend to drop the word car from any of its advertising and that it did not feel that it was violating any rights by referring to its automobiles as cars. One company said that it had prior rights to the word car because it had used the word in advertising that dated back more than 50 years. A railroad car manufacturer was considering a lawsuit against the makers of cars because the manufacturer had made railroad cars before automobile cars were invented. In all, the weeks that followed the launching of the car campaign were extremely hectic. Now, why was a railroad company considering a lawsuit against the advertising agency? The railroad company was considering a lawsuit against the advertising agency because they had made railroad cars before automobile cars were invented. So when you're done, boys and girls, make sure you answer your workbook and you submit your assignment. Have a great day.